Let's see, live, okay. Happy New Year, everybody. This gentleman here, I just found this website over the holiday. We won't listen to it all, but let's listen to the start of it, and you can listen to Goober Gensler lie his face off.
Already know, and gaslighting the public at the same time. They're blaming retail investors for the events, for broker-dealers basically pulling the buy button. And at the same time, they're outing themselves in the GameStop report, proving to us that it's broker-dealers' fault and not the NSCC. They're hiding failures to deliver, and this is something that's been going on for an extended period of time. And I'm also going to show you guys 100 ways that they are hiding short interest. So check this out.
The Goober.
Gensler comes out today and says, as the year comes to an end, I want to thank the SEC staff for their hard work overseeing our $120 trillion capital markets. They're giving themselves a good old pat on the back here and breaking down their 6 divisions. I had a really simple question. How do you really serve investors? Stop putting hedge funds over retail. Start by issuing jail time for market manipulation instead of pointing fingers at retail investors just for trying to get ahead. And this has been happening over and over again. Check out this awesome little video that Gary Gensler put out.
There you can see his face.
We've all come to hear the general story.
Let me crank that volume up a little bit for you guys.
What a liar, Gensler.
We've all come to hear the general story. A stock that went from 20 to 480 and back to 40, all in a matter of weeks.
There was no problem there.
GameStop, though, was just one of many so-called meme stocks that exhibited significant price volatility, trading volume, and attention in the markets this past January. Our staff at the Securities and Exchange Commission have been assessing the market events of January, and they've just published a report on the developments in the markets, both the equity markets and the options market, with a focus on you, the individual investors. Now, investing in the stock market naturally comes with risk, but the extreme volatility of meme stocks tested the capacity, the resiliency of our markets. And it gave us an opportunity to study how we can further ensure that the markets are working for everyday investors. I think the events lead to a number of areas for study.
The
events that may have caused brokerage firms to restrict trading and what we can do to lower those chances in the future. 2, trading in dark pools and through wholesalers where it's not going to the stock exchange when you send an order, and the related payment for order flow. 3, the use of predictive data analytics to market to each of us differently through digital engagement practices. And 4, short selling and the market dynamics around short selling. If you're interested in getting a deeper understanding of the GameStop events in January, then check out our report that we just published.
Gotta read that one.
To answer your question, this video was published when the SEC put out the GameStop report.
Which was?
And contrary to popular belief,
21.
It was not the NSCC or the clearinghouse's idea to restrict trading. NSCC, like most similar central counterparties, does not instruct its member firms to stop trading or clearing individual symbols because its rules do not give it that ability. However, as discussed below, some broker-dealers restricted activities in a limited number of individual stocks in reaction to margin calls and capital charges imposed by the NSCC. This would be a decision made by the broker-dealers and not directed by NSCC. You can see here, in their customer accounts agreements, some broker-dealers reserve the right to decline customer orders or cancel trades without prior notice. Such actions could be taken, for example, for legal, compliance, or risk management reasons. As GameStop and other meme stocks experienced increased levels of volatility, some brokers with a largely individual investor customer base restricted some types of trading by their customers in these stocks. Notice how they said some types of trading, because they didn't restrict your ability to sell. They only restricted your ability to buy. Because, of course, the broker-dealers were colluding with their hedge fund buddies. They wanted you to sell your shares of AMC stock, GameStop, COS, SLV ETF, the silver ETF. And you can see here, one narrative at the time attributed the broker-dealer trading restrictions to pressure from hedge funds and their commercial partners for the restrictions. This narrative was the subject of testimony at a congressional hearing where witnesses testified that the trading restrictions did not result from such pressure. Instead, some of the impacted broker-dealers maintained that the trading restrictions were a reaction to margin calls and capital charges imposed by NSCC in response to extraordinary volatility in GME and other stocks. However, we know for a fact that that is not true because we have a literal plethora of evidence here in which Vlad Tenev, the CEO of Robinhood, and their team spoke directly to Citadel Securities and a large number of other firms. So even though they claim we don't answer to hedge funds, the reality of the fact is that
Robinhood was set up for hedge funds to save their butts.
There were a lot of conversations there between them and their buddies. Robinhood themselves had over a $2.5 billion margin call, as well as many other firms. So as you heard Gary Gensler mention just moments ago,
lead to a number of areas for study. One, the events that may have caused brokerage firms to restrict trading and what we can do to lower those chances in the future. Two,
and of course, he didn't say that there was any issue with them restricting trading. They said you're shit out of luck.
Trading in dark pools and through wholesalers where it's not going to the stock exchange when you send an order. And
notice how he said, when you trade in dark pools and through wholesalers, like on Robinhood, IBKR, Webull, etc., even Charles Schwab, and even oftentimes through Fidelity, if you're not routing your orders manually, your trading is occurring in dark pools and through wholesalers. And they have the right to take away your ability to buy or sell at any moment. And when that happens, your orders are internalized. They don't actually hit the lit markets. They have a very minimal price impact on the stock. It's a fraction of what it actually should have. And it's all legal. Now we know that the SEC is hiding the missing GameStop failures to deliver data in a FOIA request recently. Now, I didn't get my information from Wall Street Bets. I got my information from the guy who actually did the FOIA request himself. You can see here from FTD FOIA on Superstonk, posted all of the information and links to his FOIA request. And I'll share that with you guys so you can get a good idea of what we're talking about. I'm going to briefly summarize it. I'm not going to read the entire post, but I'll give you the important bits. He submitted a FOIA request, Freedom of Information Act.
All right. I lost my ability to listen to all that. But anyway, for those of you who don't think this goes on, it goes on. What hedge fund brokers? Yes, yeah, it's a crime syndicate. It's an industrial crime syndicate. I don't know the guy's name. You saw the link to his channel, and that's a 48-minute video, so we didn't. It gives you a reason to look him up. I don't want to take his, thunder. But Gary Gensler's just one in a series of shoe-ins to help. Look, guys, I was reading a book. Maybe it's over here. Let me just see if it's right here. Nah, it's way over. I don't want to disturb my dog. But the difference between a million and a billion and a trillion, it's a lot. It's a heck of a lot. And now these guys that run these hedge funds and run the brokerage firms and cheat, they just shave off bits of a trillions, not billions. So, you know, these little margin calls, 2.5 billion, it doesn't matter. The whole thing is to keep us distracted by other things while they steal. And they want to steal on such a scale that they can convert your tax dollars and your promise to back up government borrowing, so they can take their piece of it and go buy a piece of the earth somewhere or other physical assets. And when it all goes to crap, they'll be laughing in their penthouses and on their yachts and around the world with their twice married, passed around woman that sort of looks good. Yeah, I'd like to do something on silver. Karthik, I want to I'm probably not going to be able to do any changes to how I present things for at least a week, but I'd like to start doing it differently. I'd like to have something around me, just use a different service maybe. But I do think we have to just change our outlook from trying to chase one short squeeze potential stock or two to, and I'm not saying to change cold turkey, because I think there's some trades out there that could do well in January, that could give us our seed capital. But I really do think there will be a generational change. I think the stock market, I still believe the stock market, although I think I packed that away, I don't have my targets in front of me. I still think the markets are going to go sky high first. And then I think they're going to, the indexes anyway, are going to give back 95% of the top. And it's going to come down so quickly, it's going to be helter-skelter. I've got blisters on my fingers. But equally, during that up and down, I think there's going to be there is a generational opportunity to invest in oil and gas, which probably I understand very well, but I also know there's always something that you go, well, I didn't understand that. There's always something when you get down into the rock. Then I understand mining, gold and silver and some of the rest. And I think these are going to give generational opportunities to separate yourself from the sheep and the slaves of the banks and the banksters. And make no mistake about it, the United States government is owned, controlled, and manipulated by the banksters. And if you don't see it, you don't see it. But our military goes out to find assets for the banksters to acquire, like the Ukrainian farmland or Ukrainian resources offshore. They help the point of our spear in the Middle East to claim oil and gas offshore. I know I offended people when I pointed that out over a year ago, but that's what's happening. There's oil off the coast of Israel, and there's oil up in the Golan Heights. And why do we do it? Because it helps the banksters. And our military goes around the world, unfortunately, because Congress is bought and purchased by the banksters. And Wagner is just one example of it. Goober Gensler is another. And while we debate, I almost opened this up with a video, which maybe I'll show you after Ham comes on. China is, yes, there's a lot of problems going on in China. Too much real estate, too much that. But you know what? China's going around the world creating an economic ecosystem with technologies that developing countries want. For example, China produces half of all the world's automobiles. And guess what? They're cheap. They're inexpensive. They're not, the materials aren't cheap. They're inexpensive. Where's the world going to turn to buy cars? From our bloated, DEI-laden big three? Or from a manufacturer who's taken our technologies from Bill Clinton to George W. Bush onwards? We just gave it to them because it helped the banksters. It's all about the banksters, I'm telling you. And it's been 30, 40 years of this. And we think those banks are American? They're not American. They're supra-national. They're not American. They're just looking out for themselves and their buddies and whatever chicks they can get after they've been passed around a few times. That's all it is. Getting in early. I was going to say something about Joe Obama, but I don't know you, and it's not that funny. Gary Gensler is a made man and will land at the SEC. Oh, absolutely, Big Vic. Look, Trump's not president yet. And apparently Joe Biden is going to be giving an award to Liz Cheney and her committee, who destroyed evidence and manipulated information. You can look at that and get upset, but you can also say, uh-oh, are they going to invoke, is it the 14th Amendment? Whatever amendment that came after the Civil War that said insurrectionists can't be federal office holders, can't be president. So if we have a Hillary Clinton, Kamala Harris administration coming up, Gensler will run the Treasury. If we have a Trump administration, Gensler will go work for Kramer's law firm, not Baker Hostetler, Gibson Dunn. Or he'll be on the board at Goldman Sachs. Or he'll be on the board at some other equally ravenous, present to the world that we're honest and we're doing our best and we care about you, but we're stealing. We're stealing because we're the privileged few. We're the ones on the inside. Man, they did not distribute us. Well, prove that to me. Prove that to me. They didn't bring witnesses before that committee. You know, strategic works. I saw the videos. For example, Millennial Millie went out and she interviewed, I forget the guy's name right now. I can try to track it in my history. But she went out. There was a guy that went in wearing went into the crowd just wearing indistinguishable garb, got in the building, and he had a hammer apparently, but then he comes out with that Trump garb on. She tracked him down up by the Hilton on the other side of the Capitol, and it was all staged. But Liz Cheney didn't investigate this. But anyway, you know what, strategic? I'm not going to convince you. You are part of the problem because you're not allowing your critical thinking to work. You allow your hatred of an overweight billionaire, entitled billionaire, and you just get little glimpses of information, but that's fine. That's the hell you live in. I don't want to convince you to not. They did destroy the evidence. J6 destroyed evidence. The committee destroyed evidence. And it's not even a matter of debate. So anyway, I don't want to get upset about it. Grand Rising. I really, this year, I'm not going to try to convince you. If you are stuck as one of the sheep and you have no brain and you don't speak up against it, that's fine. Go your own way. Go your own way. It's sad. But the only way this country is going to improve everybody's life is if we stop allowing this stuff to happen. I'm a lifelong Democrat. I used to take on, I remember, and I've said it before, I took on a restaurant full of CEOs, CFOs, and some of the sundry investment bankers. I was somehow at the end of the table, probably because I was late. And I defended Bill Clinton. You know what? None of them hated me afterwards. We got passionate, but none of them told me that I was worthless. In fact, it probably made me stand out. I think I was over time, I think I was one of 3 Democrats in the oil and gas business. There's one guy I'm very close to out of Kentucky who's a Democrat, but he doesn't vote Democrat. He hasn't in a long time. So it probably made me stand out a bit. But you know what? Strategic works. I'm able to critically think. And hopefully you are at some point as well. I bet you can quote data on every football player or every baseball player. You probably have ideas on charts. It's not that you're not smart. It's just you've decided to turn off that part of your brain because it's uncomfortable to see. And maybe you're part of the woke culture because you want to get laid by these womanists who don't think either. I don't know what it is. But at some point, when it troubles you so much, you'll recognize it. Until then, you'll just pretend. And hey, pretending's a way to be happy. So go on pretending. Oh, Lordy, I'm not going to read that out. I didn't vote. I did vote for Bill Clinton twice. Yeah, the Clinton years were good times, except, Dennis, they robbed from the future. Bill Clinton did more to help China get into the World Trade Organization and then strip us of patents, technology, information. And by the way, I think we should be friends with China, but it looks like we're going to war. Bill Clinton did that giant sucking sound. You know that giant sucking sound? He did NAFTA. The Republicans couldn't get NAFTA through. Bill Clinton got rid of the division between investment banking and commercial banking. Republicans never could. Bill Clinton did it with a signature. Bill Clinton brought blowjobs into the White House and into our conversation with children in the media. Bill Clinton bombed, no other word for it, and supported factions in the Yugoslavian war that murdered, raped, disfigured Muslims because he wanted to get his wife's health care bill through. Hillary Clinton destroyed the Democratic majority in Congress because of her worthless health care bill, which also we still live with. Bill Clinton single-handedly destroyed journalism forever in the United States by signing in the Journalism Act of 1992, whatever the hell it was called, the New Age of American Media Wonderment Act of 1992, which took us from thousands of outlets down to 6, all controlled by BlackRock. Christopher Hitchens wrote a book, and I've never read it. I want to read it, but I've listened to him discuss it. He entitled it "No One Left to Lie To," and that was it was about Bill Clinton. No one left to lie to. Bill Clinton is a liar. I voted for him twice. He's a particularly good liar. And he made it okay as Democrats to support all of this shit. His wife is a bloody nightmare. So anyway, you say it was good times. I'll point out 2 things about those times. One was that Ronald Reagan financed the high-tech industry. Ronald Reagan, who's a big free market guy, he financed everything out there that could help make our defense high-tech. So the seeds of a lot of the technology companies was government spending. Secondly, oil prices collapsed during Bill Clinton's time, not because of Bill Clinton, but because the Saudis decided to take down the evil empire, who was at that time the Soviet Union. Now we take on that role today. But they decided to destroy the price of oil to get rid of the godless government of the Soviet Union, and it worked. But oil went down under $10 a barrel while Clinton was president. That was a massive help to Bill Clinton. He did nothing. He put in private prisons. Bill Clinton. And he at least started the trend, if not did it, to private elite schools where other people that don't get into those schools have to go to the crap public schools. Bill Clinton. He did the crime bill that Joe Biden's proud of writing, 3 strikes, you're out, for drug offenses that Hunter Biden put to shame. Bill Clinton put young men, mostly non-Caucasian men, in prison, destroying families for further young men and young girls, young boys and young girls, for generations. I'm sorry. I don't think the good times, as you call it, under Bill Clinton were worth the evil that came afterward. And I think one of the worst presidents we ever had was George W. Bush. But Joe Biden's got to be Nightmare City. And Barack Obama, what the hell? What kind of marketing job was that? Anyway. Yeah, I got in trouble for that, but you know, factually, the shills did disappear during Hanukkah. KNW is moving which direction? I think you should not buy KNW. Yeah, it's up 2 cents. That's a Jeff Easton special. Destroy, destroy, destroy. And the one hedge fund, he says, shorts his deals. Yeah. You know what's strategic? I'm going to let you have that. You're right. You're right. You make a bunch of assumptions there, and you're comfortable. You're right. You have faith in the House of Representatives. You're right. You got me, Strategic Works. You're the winner. Happy Hanukkah. Well, I don't know, Matthew. It's possible that the criminals called up Finger Motion's auditor and said, we represent 3 of your biggest clients, Stevie Cohen's hedge fund, Jacob Flink's hedge fund, and Blackstone's Fink's hedge funds, and we're going to take all of our business away from you unless you resign Finger Motion. That might have happened. It's possible. But it's pretty normal that if the auditor retires, they have to go back and re-audit everything. But it's possible. Well, I'm glad you're waiting. I don't advise you to wait for those squeezes. GTII is completely dead, and it's a complete wipeout. You and your friends won that battle. It's now in the hands of the legal geniuses. It's going to go nowhere in terms of a short squeeze. There's nothing there. So you can stay with GTII, but I think you're stupid if you do. Finger, I'm not so sure that there's going to be anything approaching a squeeze in Finger in the near term. But I do think Finger can double or triple from here. And I think with surprises and with constant pressure, if your accomplices start losing money, they'll cover, and then you could get a squeeze. You could get a squeeze. But, you know, thanks for waiting. Thanks for sharing. All the uranium rights she sold to the Russians, guys, you can Anthony, you're not long for being invited here. I have no interest battling anyone on shorts and failure to delivers. Your argument is it doesn't exist. My argument is that you and your buddies have corrupted the system so much that you have win after win after win that you consider earning a living. I consider theft and breaking the law. But it's very hard to fight you, very hard to fight you. You control everything. You got Gensler, you got the judges, you got the lawyers, you got Congress, you got the hedge funds backing you up. Journalism backs you up. So just enjoy it. Just enjoy it. Enjoy what you steal. Somewhere inside of you, if in fact you remember the 10 Commandments that Moses brought down to the people cavorting and doing all manner of evil down below. If you remember them, you have a guilty conscience, but go on. Well, Matt, we're not ready for war. I don't want war. I don't want to test it. Hey, Kenneth. Jay Leno. He's in trouble with the mafia. Now, let me see. Is the mafia, do people think the mafia is one culture, one characteristic of people? That would be anti. Almost feels like a defense mechanism in the White House dome. I don't know what that means. Happy New Year. Did you guys see the lightning strike on New Year's Eve? I did see it. I was asleep, but I did see it afterward. Yeah, I did see it, as you put it, plastered. You didn't, because you don't expand your search. It's okay, strategic. Just pick and choose your news and assume it's correct. It's fine with me. I really don't care what you think. Drink from the toilet. That was Ham's expression. Okay, like VIX. Yeah, VIX options are pretty good. ZJYL, let me see where it is. Yeah, it's not that great. Just so you know, Frankie, I sold my small, very small position of ZJYL under 2,000 shares in my IRA. I sold it and I bought Rail this morning. I didn't get a good price for ZJYL. I think I got 82 cents, 84 cents. I got a decent price on Rail, I think 32 cents, 32, 30 or something. So I bought a little, I don't know, a little over 5,000 shares of Rail. So that's how my thinking went. Yeah, I actually don't, every now and then dirty sense of humor is funny, but I don't like it as a go-to, like Margaret Chow, one of the least funny comedians I've ever seen in my life. All right. I agree with that middle ground. I think what I've learned over the last 2 or 3 years is the short squeezes are there, but I think the system has most of it under control. I don't really want to go back over it, but the system corrupted 3 men to stop the squeeze that I think was going in place in Finger and GTII for that matter. They have every answer. They have Gensler. I'm telling you, their fealty is to each other, not to the integrity or the honesty of U.S. securities markets or to following U.S. securities laws. That's just the way it is. Why buy companies always? Well, there are companies out there. I'll give you 2 middle ground. Exxon. Buy Exxon. I bet you'll double or triple your money over the next decade. But see, that's the problem. It takes 10 years. Buy Anico Mining. Buy Newmont's in a little bit of trouble, but it'll come out of it. Buy Newmont. Buy Barrick Gold. Buy Devon. Buy APA. Buy Oxy. And those companies don't need capital, and they will not get destroyed. But every other company comes to the market for capital because Gary Gensler lies through his glad-handing teeth. We do not have $120 trillion capital markets. We don't have it. They're not deep. They're not honest because he's a crook, in my opinion. Hey, Stan, Happy New Year. Frankie, Happy New Year. Yeah, go with the companies that have good fundamentals. I just gave you some. I'll give you some more. Alamis Gold. Wheaton Precious Metals. You're not going to like them because they won't give you the middle ground. Part of it's unfair. 2 or 3 years ago, there was a mania. GameStop, AMC, which I missed completely, and I never backed getting back in them, ever. Then there was MMTLP, which I never suggested anyone buy. And in fact, when I was told to buy it at 80 cents, I said, hell no, because I own Torchlight. But then I did buy it at $8 just to show how smart on the last 1 or 2 days. I really did believe Finger Motion and GTII were situations where the shorts had to cover. And sure enough, they were. The Kramers were down $1 billion, their clients, I believe, and they moved the short position to Alpine. And the same shills came and crushed it. But the special dividend as a warrant was causing a squeeze. I don't want to go through it anymore. It's over with. They won. They won on that. But GTII was always a piece of shit company, trying to catch out the shorts. And it was working. AMC's a piece of shit company that got a lot of money. But so you're wrong about that. You're wrong about that. It's always easy to say the stock market is about presenting an idea, presenting competency of management. The biotech industry, it used to come out with ideas like Telomere would be, I think, a $75 stock right now. Overpriced, yes. But then with that stock, they could raise money without incredible dilution. They could go acquire talent, go acquire other companies. But this group of gentlemen, and they're all men, except for Hai Lee Kim and Sam Chung at Jeff Easton's shop. But those two women think they have a great job. They don't really see what's happening. But anyway, investing is about a judging value, having a theme, having a thesis you're working on, being knowledgeable. And when everyone else is selling, you buy, and vice versa. But it takes emotional guts. And it's easy to come on and say, well, we should only buy stocks that have good fundamentals and they don't need cash. Well, why be public if you don't need cash? Why be public? I mean, there is an argument, and I agree with you, that if you're on Adina Friedman's corrupt, oblivious, or under her corrupt, oblivious, complicit, or stupid leadership at NASDAQ, focused on getting women on boards and minorities on boards, regardless of skill, regardless of ability to make money for investors. When, by the way, the majority of financial assets in this country are owned by women. So don't come at me that I'm anti-woman. I'm anti-idiocy. And Adina Friedman is an idiot, along with Ann Wagner. Adina Friedman does not deserve her job. But she's a woman. And she's corruptible. And she'll keep her mouth shut. And she'll distract everybody with DEI. But once you're on NASDAQ and you need capital, this group of men destroy you. The lawyers, the bankers, the hedge funds, the regulators, and Adina herself help destroy hundreds, if not thousands of companies on NASDAQ. Why? Because they need capital. They have good fundamentals. But you can destroy the per share value because Adina Friedman gets distracted as to whether or not board of directors members have a vagina. She does. See what it's done for NASDAQ. If that's the sole qualification, what has it done for NASDAQ? To have a vagina in charge. I mean, you can make the same argument. The guy running the over-the-counter department has a penis. What good is it to have the sole selection is because he has a penis? You got to get away from these. You got to hire people that actually care about the integrity of the markets, regardless of race, regardless of sex, regardless, I might argue, of education. It doesn't take much. It takes following federal securities laws. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. This dude talking, I don't. Oh, the one on the, yeah, I'm not vouching for him. I just found him. I just appreciate that somebody else. Yeah, I'll do silver. The Butcher of Wall Street. Good morning, John. Send in the clowns. How does that end? Don't bother, they're here. It's a crime syndicate. I don't think crime syndicate describes it. I think it's crime on an industrial level. These men have entered into a conspiracy to get you to back the Treasury and the Fed issuing trillions of dollars so they can steal in the precious metals markets, the energy markets, the commodities markets, the bond markets, the real estate markets, the stock markets. Anything they can attach a derivative to and hang it around the U.S. taxpayer, they're going to say, see ya, sucker, and don't. If you come against us, you're a racist. Hey, Gary, Matt. Boss Blunt. I'm not sure lit exchanges are going to change the corruption any more than I think listing a company with tokens. These guys have trillions of dollars, best lawyers, best regulators, best senators and congressmen, best judges, all behind them. And they still come on here and bully. Well, we'll see. I'm open to any attempt. All right, here comes Sam. Here comes Sam. All right, I have to call you back because I have to get the speaker on.
Battery 10%.
Uh-oh,
Connected to Bill's iPhone.
10%. I think I can fix that. Went to a voicemail. So I guess I got to turn off my phone to reset the settings. Sorry, it's all I know how to do. Turn it on and off. Okay. Now that's not going to go out. Okay. Now let me try it. This is a process.
Call ended.
He didn't pick up, so we'll give it a second. All right, let's see. Hello?
Yes, William.
All right, you're live. You're live.
I just put a post up, William, saying how many public companies that have been naked shorted in 2024 will be delisted in 2025.
Exactly.
Get ready for a long list, is my guess. And offshore terrorists, and offshore terrorists. Crime pays. Investors need to start stealing themselves. This is a disgrace. Disgrace that this is going on. There's people getting murdered. No one cares. Who's funding terror groups? No one knows. No one says anything. Guys just got busted in Dubai naked shorting. Last I looked, Dubai's in the Middle East. All right? Any terrorist can walk over and open up an LLC in Dubai and start naked short selling. And the FINRA, the SEC, NASDAQ, they don't even look. It's a disgrace. And everyone here thinks it's a joke. Trust me, they're stealing everybody's money. They're destroying companies. People are getting laid off. The country's in a debt spiral. No one says anything about it. And even Trump hasn't said anything yet. I'm disgusted that he hasn't spoken. I would have voted for that piece of shit, the other one, the woman, whatever the fuck her name was. But he wasn't going to do anything. Everything starts with the stock market. If people can't make money and there's no security, then the whole country's being looted. All right? Because when people make money, we pay extra, we pay our taxes, we do everything, we can hire law enforcement, things can happen. Let the money, knowing money, everything's in a debt spiral. People commit crimes, people need money, they get desperate. It's a disgrace. I don't even understand how it goes on. Anyway, forget that for a second. That's my political rant for today. KNW, I just have to talk to you about this scam. Lynn Partners and everybody else involved in this name is probably converting shares. It's traded 30 million shares in the same 2-cent spread. Like everything else, there's definitely a scam going on here. Whether they got an algorithm to start buying it or they pay someone to start buying the stock, an algorithm. And these guys are laying into it, converting it, pennies and selling it here. Just stay away from it. Just trying to show you how easy it is to expose it. We see the same type of buying in many other names, but we don't. These other names, I don't follow them. Do they have debt spiral financing on them? I don't know. I don't go that deep into it. But KNW just happens that have been following it thanks to Lynn Partners. And you can see that someone's trying to, as we'll say, when they get liquid, they own stock, probably own it at pennies and trying to cover whatever they're doing or get out. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's got something to do with Lynn. All right. You know, everything Lynn's involved with goes straight down. I don't know how they make money. All they do is lose. Every company they invest in is worthless, yet they're up 220%. And their buddy in Australia brags about it. And we have to sit here and watch these criminals enjoy their life, stealing money, while we all have to sit here and defend our investments. It's just remarkable that this country is down to this. Just amazing. And, you know, the people from AMC, I give them credit, even though they're all screwed. I give them credit for fighting, trying everything, George Donahue. It's just amazing. You know, the GameStop people, you know, they do the same thing, and that's why I keep telling you to buy the dip on that one, because they're so crazy and pushing it higher. You can always buy the dip, sell the rip in that name. How DJT was short selling just before the assassination attempt. It's all there. It's not like anybody can't see it, and he hasn't said anything yet. I mean, Devin has spoken about it. They're investigating it, but you know what? This is enough is enough. Just come out and say it. We catch you, you're going to jail. That's all they have to come out and say. You make it short, you're going to jail. End the conversation. Then grab the low-hanging fruit. Go grab a Jeff Easton. Go grab the Kramers in Long Island, the guys from Yorkville. All these, you know, these brokerage firms, Benchmark, Aegis, all these guys. They're all crooks. You know, Interactive Brokers. Interactive Brokers basically gets busted all the time. Their stock never goes down. Same thing with, you know, let's see, Virtue, VIRT. Company's worthless. These stocks are always being held up. Why? There's 150,000 shares trading today in Virtue. All right? There's a probability this company's going to zero. Zero when they settle trades. And there's no selling it. Big Motion raised money at $1.50 and every day has nothing but sellers. They're fully financed, no more dilution. The company updates coming, the special dividends coming, and yet every day the stock can't move a penny. Can't even get back to 150. Who's selling it below here? Nobody. It's just clear manipulation every day. We have to sit there and watch it. It's just ridiculous. Yeah, Glenn, you got anything?
How do you think Finger will be affected if China invades Taiwan?
It's good. That means we're on the winning team.
And then
But
the
you know
poor
what?
economy that's...
For the person who said that, if China's going to invade Taiwan, I think that you need to short Starbucks, Tesla, McDonald's, Nike, all those big companies that are doing business in China. All right, because they're going to have pressure to leave China because you know they can't make money from China anymore. Finger Motion is tied to the Chinese government, has nothing to do like those companies do. There's no pressure from shareholders of Starbucks. I'm sure they're going to be screaming, don't sell the Chinese Starbucks. So they're going to have to pull out all their Starbucks stores, or McDonald's, or Nike, right? Or Apple Computer. You should be shorting all those names. And look, Apple's down 6, so I guess people know that already. I guess they're going to close down all their stores. Starbucks, Apple, anyone doing business. Walmart has stores in China, all of them. Short them all because they ought to go down.
I think you talked about it thoroughly, but one guy wants to know about all the movement in K&W the last few days. But I think you probably already did that.
K&W, listen, this company has done more funding. It's raised about $13 or $14 million between Lynn and Benchmark. They all got shares. They all have warrants. They issued whatever the float was before. It probably doubled or tripled. All right, they're raising money at 20 cents. All right, little different. So I don't care what the company has to say. We're working on diabetes, this, that. It's 20 cents. $12 million ain't going to cure diabetes. They'll make sure of that. They're going to reverse the stock, kill all the shareholders, and start over again. The company will have its flag outside their building tomorrow. Nothing will change. But every shareholder that's bought a share of the stock will lose every penny. That's just how it works. And that's what I keep trying to tell people, be careful. That's it. It's got nothing to do with the management. Management signed the deal, and now Lynn Partner controls them because you signed the deal. That's it. There's nothing to say. Once they got the power in their hand, they can short it all day long. Now, they wouldn't be able to short it all day long if the stock settlement system, if the stock settlement system worked, because they wouldn't be able to carry a 20 million share short. But the system doesn't work, so these guys are selling short. And when they want, they got the protection. They can call the company up and convert their shares at the lowest price. That's what they're doing. Stock was 90 cents. It went down to 13 cents with the discounts, and I wouldn't doubt it if they on the last wipeout down to 13 cents that Lynn converted. Let's say probably 8 cents. What's $12 million into 8 cents? You know, yeah, that'll give you how many shares they get, right? Whatever that number may be. Maybe someone could do the math for us real quick, because I got one hand on the phone and one hand on the computer.
So if one believes that the stock market is going to have a big correction, how would you recommend playing it on the short side? Or would you even bother?
Well, the first thing I would do is that the first thing you have to do, it's very hard on the short side because they manipulate the correction. For example, the market's up $50 today, right?
Yeah.
You bought puts on the market. And you say, I was right. Look at Apple's down 6. The walls are starting to tumble, right?
Yeah.
And the market's up $50.
Yeah.
So they do a rotating correction with him. So they'll take Apple maybe down 10.
Okay.
And the market will be up today. Tomorrow they'll kill IBM and they'll have Apple back up $2, and that'll whatever the difference is, IBM will be down 10, Apple will come back again. So it's sort of hard to, to bet overall on the market. You're better off learning how to pick a stock and shorting something like an IBM, an NVIDIA, whatever that they're trying to kill. Yeah. Barron's wrote a story about NVIDIA. I want to send that to someone. And they said NVIDIA is going to be a big winner again in 2025, even with all the BS stuff going around it about, being tied to that company with fraud. Stock sold off. And you know what? Here it is. They're saving the day saying that there's going to be positive stuff in 2025. So that whole short story seems to be going away on NVIDIA now. So it's tough to play. It's tough to play the market. The market may go down 1,000 points, all right? But, there's different, the way you short an ETF or short a stock, you're better off finding something that you can chart or you understand, maybe some with bad earnings, maybe a Costco or something that's, every stock's $1,000 now. So when they fall, they're going to fall 50, 60, 100 points.
I puts on Bank of America. I don't know. Something.
Yeah, they keep holding it up. Warren Buffett sold it. They tied to fraud, this, that, the other thing, yet the stock never goes down. It's only, what is it off it's 48 was the 52-week high. I never heard any good news from Bank of America, but it never goes down. BIRT, everybody knows is a scam. Stock never goes down. Interactive Brokers gets caught naked shorting, this, that, stock just goes up. Goldman Sachs, they just keep making money at 5. So what happens is they killed Goldman down from 6 something down to 550. It bounces back up, and this is why it's hard to plan a route in the market, because they do this rotation. They can manipulate the market based on on different stocks. What else you got waiting? Get it.
Is there anything going on with Tom Rock situation?
Was there anything going on with the Tom Rock situation?
Hey, he wrote Tom Wrong. I don't know who Tom Wrong is. I think he means Tom Rock situation.
RONK, yes. There's many things that I reached out to have people bring eyes to finger motion. We're just waiting on the corporate update from the CEO to tell us what he's going to do. Broad Capital is 100% going to do a report on it. My friend who works there has said that whenever they do a deal, they follow it up with a research report. There were 2 stocks the other day that Roth did a deal with, and you brought it up to me. I forgot the symbols, but both of those stocks took off. I don't know what they were.
Oh, NNE? No,
I don't know them.
that was benchmark. Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, there were two symbols. They both took off, and it was tied to Roth Capital's research report.
Oh,
so
yeah.
You're going to get a research report. The company's got the money. They paid $1.50 for it. Whoever's selling it down here, manipulating, is just trying to get you to sell. There's a lot of washing. They did sell more. They sold 1 million something. The day the stock broke $1.50, they sold it all below $1.50. I think it was 1.4 million shares they sold into the market, trying to hold it down, try to break its back, and that didn't work. So now, we're here. Listen, there's no way out. I can get to the guy from Interactive Brokers telling you that there's no way out for these guys. The upside's infinite. We all know what it is, and that's why we're here. Now, I'm not thrilled that the company raised a penny. That's not my thing. But the company needed the money for something. And you know what? Instead of raising it really down low, they did it at $1.50. The dilution was 3.3 million shares. But for that 3.3 million shares, the company has taken all the negative stuff off its back. People say they needed money. They got the money now. So what now? Now, is their business real? We all know it is. CEO is telling you it's real. So let's see what the company has to say about their revenue and about how they're going to use that money to drive revenue, growth, and profitability. And the next thing we just got to hear is about the dividend. This company will do a dividend that will basically expose the shorts. I passed it on to Devin Nunes. I passed it on to everyone that I could possibly do something to try to get this thing done. These other companies, they all just sit there and do nothing. They all sit there and wait for their attorneys, and their shareholders just lose. Time is a killer. All right, that's been a killer with finger motion. We're waiting for what? An audit. Right, that's what we've been waiting for, an audit. So what is that? People don't want to wait. People are impatient. They want to sit here and just want to get in and out. Listen, if you're day trading, go someplace else. I can't help you with that. This is not the day trading hotline that we can make figure go up and down and you can buy it, flip it. Go trade something else. Good luck. All right, but again, just think about what we're waiting for. This guy's short 230 million plus shares. Take away 30 million. Take away any fucking number you want. There's 200 million shares. This stock will be hundreds going to $1,000 in a blur with those numbers. GameStop, people tried to get a freedom of information. I know people who have filed for freedom of information for Finger, and they got back nothing. Nothing. They get nothing. No, thank you. Your request is denied. We did that 2 years ago. GameStop made the noise. People making the noise all weekend. GameStop has been denied the freedom of information. Everyone, Roaring Kitty posted a picture of whatever the fuck he posted, and the stock goes down. All right? You need to fucking fight, not make believe fight. Ryan Cohen needs to say something, to do something. Yeah, I don't see the guy saying anything. Yet the stock keeps being acquired by these guys. Keep buying it. I don't know. The guy's got $5 million in cash. He's closing up his stores. That's your business. It's a fundamental play now. And you can see the wild swings in it don't exist anymore. That means the shorts aren't really playing it. Because shorts, when the stock moves up, run in and start to cover real quick. That's what they do. Anything else, William? MLSS, I had one of my good friends who bought, he bought like 8,000 shares at the 99 cents. I told him the other day, he said, listen, you get, you know, you don't want to stay. He offered 3,000 at $1 today. He sold it. I had him put it out on Friday. He sold it today at $1. And so I told him, you reduced your position. You got it down to 5 now. You took 3 off the table. You made a penny. You broke even. Breaking even is a good thing sometimes. I haven't done anything yet. I'm going to wait for it to move north of 1 to see what I'm going to do. So I haven't done anything. So I'm still watching it. ZJYL had this crazy run up, crazy run back down. Now it's back to $1. I have no fucking clue what they're doing here. They ran it to 250 the other day, William, pre-market. No one could even do anything. Yeah, we pointed it out at $1 last time. They ran to 250. I got a blade. They already ran to 250, came back down and traded 5 million shares already. It was something stupid. And people couldn't even do anything. So they pushed it back down again. I think they washed a lot of trades. You know, I don't know exactly what they did. But it looks like it's breaking to $1 again. Is it second or third attempt? We know there's a big short. They did a forward split 20-1. The guys that owned all the stock before have 20 times more shares. I'm sure they're not selling it at $1 when the stock was $300 or whatever the equivalent was at the time. Maybe it's 12. So they're not going to sell it then. If they weren't selling it there, William, you think they're selling it here when they own the whole thing? I doubt it.
Mark thinks KNW is going. I don't think so.
Mark, go get it, Mark. I agree with you, brother. Go get all you can.
Don't.
I hope you make a fortune from it.
Don't.
I couldn't tell you. Lynn Partners is here. They have the right to buy stock at pennies. If you want to fall for the 100 million shares, printing back and forth, God bless you. Good luck. I think you hit your head on a rock because we say it every day. It's fraud, but yet you seem to forget all about it and you want to go buy a 21-cent stock. Knock yourself out. Don't ask me about it again. I can't advise you on it. If you do buy it and you win, God bless you. If you buy it, it goes to zero. We told you so. There's no winning here. It's a total scam. The company could be the greatest company in the world. He's not the first one to get wiped out with the greatest company. He signed the notes. Everyone knows about it. GMGI did the same thing. Well, look, go get what you want to do. That's it. Don't ask me about it. I just reported to you what's going on, what's on the tape. Lynn Partners, go read the conversion note and get back to us. If you can't, if you're too lazy, you don't understand it, go buy the stock and knock yourself out. I could care less. Don't bring it up again.
Well, and
I don't want to talk about it. Forget it. It's over. If you want to go buy it, there's plenty of stocks to buy them. Go throw a dart. They all seem to work. Knock yourself out. It takes money to buy a stock. People are not that stupid. Go ahead.
You talked about ZJYL, right?
ZJYL broke, went to 250 the other day. They pushed it back down to 70 cents for the year end. Now it's back to $1 and another million. You know what? I have no fucking clue what they're doing. It's dangerous. The only way you can play that game is you buy the dips, and when they rip back up, sell them. That's all I couldn't tell you. The people that were behind that name are still there. That's all I know. Am I there? No. GDC, the same nonsense. But GDC, remember, GDC was at 60 cents when it went to 12, pulled back, and it's still hanging in there at $2. There's got to be another attempt at the high on that thing too. So again, you know, I don't know the date, but that's not my focus.
Should Finger have done the deal at $2.50 or $2 instead of $1.50?
Yes, they should have did it at $7. That's when they should have done it. You're right. They should do it at a higher number. I agree with you. But when your stock gets suppressed by fake trades every day, it's hard to do that number because it's a moving target. So let's make believe we're the company. We call up Broad Capital and say, hey, we'd like to raise some capital. We met with you. We think that we need it because our business needs it. It can really explode. And Roth goes out and they say to their brokers, hey, we're going to see if we can raise you the money. Worth Capital goes to their trading desk, wherever their bank is. They say, we need to raise $5 million for this company. Call your clients up. We don't give a fuck if it's Attila the Hun. Just get us a commitment for $5 million. They come back, we got your $5 million. The stock starts drifting because these guys are pushing the stock down because they're trying to lock in a profit. If you want to understand that, it's done every day. I put up a full Millennium Fund, which is a major, major fund. They were shorting the stock before the secondary, and they bought the stock back on the secondary to cover their short. That's a multi-billion-dollar fund. Okay? My brother's friend is the head guy, Izzy Englander. They got caught. They traded on the desk, shorted 300,000 shares and bought it back down 5 points, made himself $1.5 million, and he covered on the secondary. But what do you think they did with Roth Capital? What do you think the guys who invested the money in did there? They were selling it when it ran up to 270. Remember, it was going to 270. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, they did a complete reverse back down to 2, and the next day they did the deal. Ta-da! Somebody knew, someone shorted it, and they covered it there. That's what they do. That's Wall Street for you. I didn't create that. These people that do that, if anyone looked into the trades, they would see in 2 seconds the pattern. If anyone looked into that.
I also think they try to get it going up so other people buy, so then they can short. But it's hard to prove. It's just what you watch, you know. I guess circumstantial evidence counts. What do you think of DJT? Why haven't they covered yet?
Because I voted for the wrong person. I should have voted for Kamala. That's why. I think Donald Trump and his group are a bunch of buffoons right now. Of course, they haven't spoken yet. Now, I don't want to throw the president under the bus, but for Christ's sake, you know what they're doing. Devin Nunes knows what they're doing. Pam Bondi knows what they're doing. Devin Nunes, what is the government waiting for? Are they waiting for him to come in January 20th? That's all I can say. I'm waiting for it. I don't know what else to say. Devin Nunes 100% knows what's going on. He's working with Tom Rump. Anyone clean your ears out? How many times am I going to tell you that? We know he knows. He's been taught by Tom Rump. Okay? He knows. Why aren't they slamming these people? I have no idea.
Tesla's down $100 over the last few days. What do you think?
It went up $200. So stop. If you want to play, there's your volatility. Isn't it funny they used the Tesla truck to try to blow up Trump's building? Who's helping Trump? Trump. Elon Musk, right? Listen, the country's a disgrace. What am I going to say? These people should be taken out and shot. There's nothing else I can say. It's okay. You know, your families are here. You know, I got it. People aren't fighters. And, you know, it's not easy to do. It's a pain in the ass. Time is a killer. You know, there's certain people that like to fight and some people that don't. But again, this is a fight that your financial freedom is at stake. And I got it. People are losing money. I got it. We're all not happy about it. But if you don't fight, you're never going to make it again. And I tell you, and I'll tell you again, 99% of the people on this call are looking for help, trying to understand what's going on and helping to protect themselves and their families. And I applaud you for listening to William and taking the time out to listen to these crazy calls. I love it. And you know what? The people in GameStop, I applaud them. The people in AMC, and you know, there were people fighting in MULN. They all got wiped out. There's so much damage here, and when those people get wiped out, they toss the hat and say, "I'm done." And we keep losing fighters all the time. And the SEC has turned the blind eye to everyone here. They're a disgrace. FINRA, disgrace. They've abused the people in MMTLP. Thank God those people are fighting. They've been fighting, when most people have given up. Listen, I I've lost all my followers because I kept getting kicked off for opening my mouth. But, you know, I look at people, they follow, I mean, not that I know anything about the Kardashians or any of these other followers, whatever the people say. They have hundreds of millions of people viewing them. We're posting information that could save you and help you enhance your life and get financial freedom, and no one gives a flying shit. So at that point, I look at it and say, hey, you know what? I'm here to fight for the people in Finger. Hopefully we get the GTI thing going again, and I can help out a few other companies. Everybody else, I hope they fucking rob you. I don't even care anymore. I know what I'm doing. I'm circling the wagon around with my friends and protecting what we have. Everyone else, you know, K&W, the CEO signed that note. He doesn't give a shit about you. What do I care about you for? I'm just making sure that people that I know look at it and you can see the same pattern. That's why I address K&W. I don't give a shit if it goes to 100 or goes to 0. GMGI is the same thing. Two stocks that Lynn Partners has recently done deals with. If those people just did a Google search, in 1 minute search, they could sit there and say, hey, these guys only got a little hair on their back. These guys are dirty. Either they're dirty or everybody else is crazy. Well, you know, that's what it's about. If you don't educate yourself, you're going to get screwed. And my advice to everybody, if you don't know what you're doing, get the fuck away from the stock market. Go buy a house. Safest thing. You'll always own it. You'll never lose it. And just stay away from it. Because you think you're going to get rich quick, it ain't happening. Oh, look at the stock traded 30 million shares today. Well, who's selling 30 million shares? People think people are buying it. Who's selling it all? Why don't you look at the other side of this thing? So I'm just telling you, listen, I'm not being negative. I'm just telling you that I'm focusing on why I'm here and what I'm doing. All the rest of this shit, I don't really care about anymore. Here's a funny story, William. I heard it on Friday. I don't know if I told you that. Yeah, I bought this GBUX, you know, here it's going to be a big stock in 2025, right? That, you know, it came from a guy called me. That's basically all I really know about it. And a friend of mine who bought it, and he knows some big people that own it already, and they said that there's someone short 300,000 shares trying to call the company, trying to buy it. So just to show you that these small little trading outfits will short anything. This is a stock that doesn't even have big volume, and they're naked shorting it, and they're short 300,000 shares, and now they're trying to cover. Just think how crazy this is. They shorted it. The guy told me it was like 75 cents, 80 cents average. So these guys are down 60 cents on 300,000 shares, just fucking around, and now they're gonna get roasted. That just shows you the mentality. These, you know, this is how a short squeeze starts. Because if these guys turn around and start covering the 300,000 shares and there's no real buying and no sellers, the stock goes to $4 or $5, and everyone says, "Oh, what's this stock? How'd it go from here to here?" It's not that longs are buying it. It's the shorts that they changed they ruined the market. You can't really figure out what the hell's going on with stocks anymore, because idiots like this that are selling stocks that they don't even borrow. They sell them illegally, and when they get busted, they make these crazy moves, and everyone goes, "What's going on?" And the only reason it's happening is because these guys are selling shares illegally. That's it. And they get busted here and there. All right. Now, GBUX, I don't have enough to change my life. 10,000 shares at 75 cents. It's not going to change my life. Finger motion is going to change my life. But I'm just trying to show you how stupid it is, and how the stock market is basically run by criminals. The whole thing is criminal. There's no way someone would short 300,000 shares of a stock that who knows what's going to happen here. They don't even let the stock make a move first. It's like, okay, put my thumb here. Let's stop this one. My uncle told me this one's starting to go up. Let me sell it. That's all it is. It's some stupid fucking idiot. That these are low-level guys. This isn't even a real player. But it happens everywhere. For all we know, this company has the cure for cancer. They don't care. Sell it short. It's a number. It shouldn't go higher. That's how they look at it. You know, the other day the thing went up to almost $1.49 on 50,000 shares. You know, so I'm just saying that this is how they start. This is how it starts. Same thing started with finger motion, William. You went back in time with me. It was small. It was only 6 million shares, remember?
Yeah, I do.
And then all of a sudden, Lynn came involved. They exploded to 120 million shares. And it's never stopped. And they keep coming and coming and coming, pressing the bend, thinking they were going to blow this company out. Guess what? It didn't work. The company has survived the attacks, raised money at 10. I know that because my friends gave them money. They raised money at $1.50, taking the high and the low, and what they raised it at? $5, right? Right, because the dilution before was done at a higher level. But the company has new business and it needs money. So if that's going to help drive it, at the end of the day, you want a company that's fundamentally sound. And I told you that. I believe it's fundamentally sound. The CEO is telling you it's fundamentally sound. And that's why the risk in the stock is very different. Now the company's funded. It's going to issue a special dividend. We're just waiting for that audit to come out. The CEO put in, and you can say, why are you so confident about that? The CEO put it in a video with William. It's right there. They're moving forward with the dividend. They're waiting for an audit. They had to change their auditor. They're waiting for the audit to be complete. He says it on a video. The CEO can be sued by everybody if he doesn't follow through what he said. So I don't think the CEO who used his words very carefully in the video about everything that he had going forward, he said in that video. He did say he was going to raise capital at some point, and he hoped to do it by the end of the year. I didn't catch on to it because I wasn't even paying attention to that. I'm more focused on the dividend. But, you know, people said that. Here it is. It's right there. He said it. So, I mean, this is the business has changed. The CEO's changed. Other CEOs I've spoken to basically told me straight out, no, we're just going to take the money. CELU. I was in his office. I didn't meet with him. I spoke with MULN. He was going to fight back, and then he changed his mind. I spoke to his attorney. I forgot his name, out of Boston. They probably told him, don't do anything. You know, the SEC will investigate you, blah, blah, blah. Instead, he's reversed his stock so many times that everyone's lost everything. That's the difference. Finger motion is doing everything they're supposed to do, and that's why I follow it. Anything else, William?
It's pretty quiet.
I went to the knee doctor. My knee's healing perfect.
You can play Djokovic now.
I can play Djokovic now.
My doctor, I told you that, told me to pick up pickleball.
Did he really?
That's a she.
William, I saw a video on YouTube
Of me playing pickleball?
Exercises that you could do from home using a chair.
Oh, God.
There's 10 exercises that you could do. So get off your fat ass, get the fucking chair. We'll find you the video and do those 10 exercises every day. It'll make you a better person. So there you get rid of. You got to start moving. You can't stay on these calls all day. You need to get up, move around, and do some things for your life. We've done everything possibly we can for everyone who's ever listened to you. All right? There's no guarantees. I can personally tell you this. If the market wasn't rigged, I'd be 99 out of 100 in winners all the time. And that's how good I was back in the day, because the market wasn't as brutal as it is now. Stocks go. How would you like to avoid? I'm not saying I don't know where Tesla is. Is it down 100? Is that what the guy said? It's down 100 the last few days or something like that? But think about it. How do you invest? You like Tesla, you think it's going to go, all this stuff, and you bought, 1,000 shares and you're down $50 in it. You're down 50,000. And you got to sit there and say, it's going to come back. That's what you're down to. There's no reason for these attacks. The guy's doing great things. The movement up created by the shorts is not normal, and the movement down created by the attacks is not normal. The whole thing is not normal. Stocks don't trade like this. They're all over the place. People get wiped. Everyone thinks everyone's making money. You get wiped out. You buy a stock, it goes up. If you didn't take your profit, you're wiped out. If you shorted it before the move, you got wiped out. Now you got the crash, comes down 100 points. People started buying, trying to buy the dips, and it keeps falling. It's so dangerous. You guys don't realize how dangerous this is. This is completely a fraudulent stock market, completely manipulated. And the game is rigged. You know what? And companies like Finger Motion are fighting through it. They have the partners, they have the business, and now they have the funds, and now they're going to do a special dividend. And you know what? I'm looking forward to see what they're going to do. And I'll tell you again, Overstock was 30. I had call options. The SEC blocked their dividend. The stock went to 3. Then the SEC approved their dividend. And it went from 3 to 128. And they're going to say, why is the SEC going to block? They won't block it. They can't block the dividends. So as long as you do things that are normal, they can't block it. Everyone does it. Everyone gives out dividends. And they may jerk around, hold you back a little bit, but at the end of the day, it went from 3 to 128. I already got wiped out. I missed the whole thing. My timing was off. What am I going to say? What else you got, William?
Not much. Just it's quiet. There's just not much to talk about. So
Listen, it's a Thursday, the day after the New Year holiday. I know a lot of people that aren't in. I called down to a couple of guys that trade out of Palm Beach. They're not even in their offices. And by the way, most people who do trade money all left New York City. So if anybody has any, my friends were, my connections were all Midtown, Lower Manhattan type guys. That was where all the fast money guys, they all picked up and left and moved down to Naples and, Palm Beach and stuff like that. Miami, sorry.
you'll have to move to Florida.
Every time I go down there, I can have dinners and lunch. I normally did that in Manhattan, but now it's Miami. Every time I go down, I wound up having, 6 days in a row of lunches and dinners and, saying hi to people. There's not enough time. I have friends from Lehman that are now bond guys down there, and I can't even get to them. It's just, there's so many people that have moved down there. Every time I go, they say, hey, what's his name's here, or she's here, or that one's here, who ran money here. They're all down there. Everyone left. I've been trying to get to the guy from DJT. As a matter of fact, I got a call the connection up today, who was the former CEO of the company, who's in charge of content and acquisitions for DJT. I told you I spoke with my connection. They was trying to set me up with them, and the holidays jumped in the middle of it. Again, wealthy people that are powerful, all take off during the holidays. Only us, the peasants, are here. And I have to sit here and try to help them. Think about that for a second.
There's just not much here to ask you.
I went over everything. If there's anything else, there's not much more I can open up about.
No.
I just get, Finger Motion has no selling pressure at all. Zero. It's just make-believe trades back and forth by the short sellers. That's it. The stock was sold at $1.50. Any trade on Wall Street, when they do a pricing of a secondary or something, they normally hold those numbers and then move higher back up, because it's actually viewed as a positive event when the company's funded, not a negative event. Isn't that funny? Wall Street, the company raised money. Someone put up $5 million. No one on this phone has invested $5 million in this company. 20,000, 100,000, 200,000. I got it. Not 5 million. Someone put $5 billion in. Again, I don't care who they are, but they paid $1.50. They wanted to probably get it lower, but the company probably wouldn't let them go lower, so that was the price they negotiated. And these guys, instead of saying no, they jumped in at $1.50, right? Whether they cover in shorts, or maybe they want to go for a ride on the upside, I don't know. But they paid $1.50. And for someone sitting here trying to sell 200 shares at $1.19, whatever hell they're doing, or 500 shares, this is just market makers manipulating the stock back and forth.
Are you going to inherit any of the Catwoman's billions?
If I had bumped into her in the streets years ago, I should have married her.
She's unrecognizable now.
Hey, listen, guys, never marry for looks. Go get that money.
Or love.
Sorry, girls.
Or sex.
Listen, we all wanted to date someone we felt attracted to, and this, you know what, that's not always the best person for you. You know what, there's a lot of beauty in people that, you know, that aren't supermodels, and you know what, go find someone that you get attracted to and enjoy your life. That's it. Fuck everybody else.
Nag.
Life is too short. Life is too short. I have a friend of the family, he's 80. And I helped him out a million times, and he wound up having breathing problems, and they incubated him the other day, and you know, and his family's discussing what they're going to do with him now. That's how fast life goes. The guy's worth billions of dollars, a big time attorney, and that's how life goes. No one gives a shit. It's your 3 kids, and his wife are sitting here making the determination whether they should pull the plug on you or not. No friends, no clients, no one gives a shit. So get over it. Learn how to make money and move on and enjoy your life. If naked short selling and this stuff is too hard for you, stop. Go enjoy your life. Take your money out. I know it sucks, or just hold on to what you got, and hopefully whatever stock you're in works out for you. Get the hell away from it. And the U.S., you should tell everyone you know, never invest a dime in the U.S. equity markets. It's all fraud. And the $1 trillion that the people put into their pensions that's gone into the markets here so they can invest in ETFs and all this stuff, the $1 trillion, the hedge funds, if this continues, will just steal 200-300 billion out of it. And everyone's going to say, what's the big deal? You've got $1 trillion in here. You lose $200 billion. It's no big deal. And everyone steals what they can. That's what's going on here. I don't know how they allow it, but that's what they do. Just through loopholes. We tried everything, William. We put the truck in front of the SEC. We've done everything that we possibly can do to help to fix this problem for everybody. You know what? The ZJYL got over $1 again.
How high can ZJYL go?
You know, it was a 20-to-1 forward split, so this thing could do a lot of damage. You know, these guys are short a lot of stock. But again, has anyone seen the company ever say anything to you? Has anyone got any good news from the company? Crickets, huh?
They said, quieten.
Well, I look at it this way. Just look at some of these stocks that are going. The fake volume and all that nonsense. 9 out of 10 times the company's never said anything. Big Emotion, as the CEO came on with you, William, and told you everything they're doing in a video. And I'm sure he's going to reach back out to you again when he can speak, or a press release about where they stand with the money and what's going on next. Mm-hmm. That's a CEO and a company that's basically telling you everything that's going on. I have no idea. GDC, I have never heard them say anything. ZJYL, all these other crazy names. So obviously someone's manipulating it behind the scenes, and you know, what can I say? Whether it's short, long, I have no idea. What else we got, man? I'm trying to think of some other things to move around with.
What's a stock? I'm just kidding you. I'm just kidding you.
If you guys want to hear investment advice, I would tell you to buy one share of GBUX and see how it pans out. Not a zillion, because I didn't buy a zillion, so I can't advise anyone to buy a zillion. But I think it's potentially to be a big play. I don't know exactly what's going on. There's been rumors of something major going down on Amazon, coming out of Goldman Sachs. So if anyone wants to chase it down, go that way. I don't know the gentleman. But I just think that it's something that, when you find a stock like this, it's tough to buy it because I know nothing about it. But to own one share just to see it and how it works for $1, this way it's on your radar. You can see how it trades. And, that's the way I look at things. You can't buy them all, and that's how it works. But, you can't, like MLSS, I'm waiting to see what's going to happen here. I'm happy I got my friend out with you. I don't understand how they hold it below $1. This is a company that's got good fundamental news, has money in the bank, and it can't go above $1. Think about that for a second. I don't know exactly what the company's doing. My friends have been buying a lot of shares below $1. But every time it gets to $1, everyone keeps trying to sell it. That just tells me that when it breaks $1, it's really going to move. That's how I look at it.
That's how you feel about MLSS?
Well, I feel like that the company's got good news. I told you about the Epidural stuff. That's why I'm not rushing to sell it. Listen, I could have sold this thing. I thought about selling it at 90, but I'm going to lose, 60,000 shares times a dime. I'm going to lose $6,000 over stock that had good news. To me, that didn't sit right.
Right.
So here it is. It's grinding itself back up. I thought I was going to be a winner. Now I'm going to lose it twice, right? And I'm looking at it saying, okay, this company's got good news. I know people are accumulating it, so I'll just sit and wait. If the company didn't have the news, I would sit there and be a little, skeptical about it, That's how I look at it.
Look, it's the Thursday of a vacation week. Tomorrow will be even worse.
Well, the problem is that the people on the phone call, we're all here, we're working, we want to work. But the big manipulators and the hedge funds and all this other nonsense, that basically it's an excuse for people not to do anything. I believe if you see something you like, you got to buy it when nothing's going on. That's how I look at it. Don't listen to the bullshit. It's a holiday. I got it. It's a holiday. I don't expect, a short can break at any time. I told you, Trump comes out and says one word, jail for anybody who counterfeits. Or if we trace the money back, we're going to arrest you if you're an offshore terrorist, whatever it may be, something like that. And these stocks will explode. You think the Cybertruck blew up in front of Trump's hotel? Wait to see these stocks go. The Anson Fund, we all know those guys out of Canada. Those guys are tied to bad people. How is the government, has the DOJ not locked these people up already? Andrew Left has been a front for shorts for so long. Hindenburg, all these guys. Kappa Barr he's just a piece of shit on that food chain, the short gang. His report isn't worth anything. It's the attack by the group of thugs. That's what does it. Hold on a second, William.
Do I have to?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Wayne.
All right.
I have a plumber here. I have a leaky pipe. No, it's not the
That
pipe.
sounds like
not that pipe.
sounds like a prostate problem.
Yeah, there's just I have an outside faucet that's dripping, and with the cold coming in, I don't want the pipe to break, and I've been neglecting it for a while, so
Maybe if you zip your zipper, it won't be outside.
I will take care of that leaky pipe.
What do you think about Webull? G-Bucks can't be bought on
I
Webull.
don't know anything about. I don't understand how any brokerage firm.
Webull is just a fake firm. It's a pressure valve for not having enough shares. Everything they sell you is fake. That's my opinion.
I don't listen. These brokerage firms. I have a friend of mine. She's very wealthy. She has money at Merrill Lynch, and she goes to buy stocks sometimes when I tell her to go buy something. And Merrill Lynch blocks this one, blocks that one. And I said to her, I said, Nora, can you just ask Merrill Lynch if I buy Apple and it goes down 5 like today, do I get my money back? I don't lose. And she goes, that's a good point. I said, well, what are they concerned that you can lose in a small cap stock? Because you can lose in a big cap stock. So I don't believe in these guys they're doing it for a reason. Because obviously they're trying to protect themselves and stop people from buying small cap stocks because these guys are most short the big small cap stocks. That's why. So these brokerage firms are, what you could call them, a two-faced, whatever you want to call them.
Janice?
But the brokerage firms, and I posted 50 times Ryan Cohen, that fucking moron, who was a lucky piece of shit. He got into GameStop to squeeze it. Him and his buddies got in. I was there before he came around. He came in, he made a statement, he's buying it, blah, blah, blah. He did the same thing in Bed Bath & Beyond. So now he's running GameStop. He plugged the shorts, got billions of dollars in his account, right? And what has he done now to make this stock go up? Nothing, as far as I see. He should buy a brokerage firm because the brokerage stocks, as you can see, never go down. No matter what's going on in the world, Interactive Brokers is an execution place. What are they doing? You open an account, they take your money, they put it in the bank, they make money off your interest, they short your stocks, everything that they make to make money off. They got nothing to do with a public company. Zero. Their stock's $176 and never goes down. VIRT, naked short stocks. That's all they do. They're Knight Securities 2.0. Knight Securities was a market maker. Everyone gave order flow to Knight, and Knight always fills your orders. It's the same shit. It's just redoing it again on the VIRT now. They're paying for order flow. Order flow goes, and they short and distort everything. That's what they do. Stock $37. It's worth a penny. Settle the trades. That company is a penny. And you're going to say, well, they're never going to let it go out of business. Knight Securities went to zero. And there was no bigger player than Knight Securities back in the day. Go Google it. But they let it go on. I don't know how. Don't understand why. Brokerage firms have zero to do with any public company. Right? The dog wags the tail, not the tail wags the dog. Right? How is Goldman Sachs controlling every public company? And they have nothing to do with any of them. They determine what stocks you can buy. You can't buy those stocks. You got to buy these stocks. We don't want to buy those stocks. We're Goldman Sachs. You can't do that. Merrill Lynch. Merrill Lynch has gotten busted for naked short selling. Bank of America. Pat Byrne will tell you that. And they're putting out, we're saying, no, if a stock breaks $3 or a $200 million market cap, you can't own it here. Anybody who clears Merrill can't own it. Think about that. So they determine, so if they short the stock, let's say stock is $10, they drop it down by naked shorting, then they push it through their number that they set up, this fake number that they set up. If the stock breaks $3, you can't own it anymore. Everyone who owns it at Merrill Lynch must sell it or move it out of here. So they made it self-fulfilling. So they drown you, and then they make the people sell it, and they cover it, make the money, and kill the company. That's Merrill Lynch. That's a fact. I posted it 50 times. Merrill Lynch has new rules for small cap stocks. Oh, so if they go down, when the stock is $7, it's okay. When they push it down to $1.50 or $1.30 like they did in Finger, you have to sell it because the company's no good now. Not that it was manipulated lower, just that it's no good now. That's what they do. They're making up rules as the game goes on. Government needs to step in here now. Trump needs to wake up and get it done. What else we got, Liam?
Was the audit completed in finger in order to get $1.50 as the target price?
I'll ask my dog. My dog said she doesn't know if the audit's complete. The CEO has to tell us that.
Was the audit completed before the offering was completed?
No, well, we spoke about that and we inquired about that. And an audit doesn't need to happen when you're doing a direct registration, whatever they call that.
So maybe there was a discount because the audit wasn't completed. Possibly.
No, I don't think that's true. That has nothing to do with it. The company gave a discount. The stock closed at 2. If there wasn't hanky panky, the stock would have been 3. But hanky panky came in and hanky panky pushed it down to 2. How do I know that? Because the stock went to 270 and closed at 2, and the next day they did the money raise. So hanky panky brought it to 2. The company gave a discount that was already set up. All right. If the stock was 270, whatever the discount was, what was it, 20%, William? I forgot the discount. So the 20% discount, right? Like 20%. So 20% would have been done if the stock would have been 3. It would have been 60 cents. It would have been done at 220, 230, right? Something
That's like that. OTC PK is pink sheets. Pink.
Right.
It's one of the layers of destruction.
It's one of the
market
stock market has many layers. So the stock market is a racist community because if you don't have the cure for cancer, you're labeled as a small cap pink sheet stock. Apple Computer is, blue blood. The companies that just got caught with fraud, what was that stock that SNGI, whatever that's just like $200 stock that went crashing back down. That couldn't get their audit complete. No one knew anything was going on that. They all missed that one, right? All the regulators.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're a $200 stock on the NASDAQ, you're considered blue blood. And everyone else is in the mosh pit fighting for their life here. And besides being a small company fighting for your life, you're considered a criminal, a fraud, you name it. Every other name thrown at you by the short sellers. The bashes that put up on Twitter. And that's why I reported on KNW and GMGI. They both took deals from Lynn Partners, which is very well known as a toxic lender. And you say, well, what proof do you have that Lynn Partners? Well, SYTA is a stock that was $900 and now it's $6. SYTA. Go find out how many times they reversed. $900 to $6 tells you that they reversed and murdered everybody. That's pretty easy math. And LSS has a device with the way they give you the epidural. Yeah, that stock can never go up, right? That's just the way it is. And if you look at anything, I have to say, whoever short DJT, whoever has a massive position short, whoever shorted it before the assassination attempt, those people should be executed. I don't care if it's Goldman Sachs. Whoever hit the sell button, whoever's part of it, whoever's back offices, whoever it may be, they should be taken out and executed for trying to assassinate the president of the United States. So being part of it. When you're robbing banks, guess what? The guy who's the getaway driver goes to jail too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the brokers, like that fat fuck who works at Share and Tell, I naked shorted every day at Morgan Stanley. Why don't you tell us who your clients were and what stocks you naked shorted? He's such a good guy. How come he never tells us what the stocks were? How come not one reporter ever asked him? I naked shorted every day, he told us. It's on the video from the movie. I naked shorted every day when I worked at Morgan Stanley. They didn't care. They hit the button, it just goes through, no big deal. What stocks and who are your clients? Give them up. Let's start there. Those are my clients. These are the stocks they shorted. And if you own the stock and you lost money because of it, you got wiped out by this. These guys, you should sue them. That's what should be happening. How many companies are suing short sellers and banks over naked short selling? Doesn't anyone think it's strange that all these companies have to hire lawyers to try to go sue MMTLP just to get settlement or anything? Look at all this stuff that's going on. It's insane. And we have to sit here and watch it. And not only that, they have the balls to keep stealing from us. Think about that. They have the balls to continue to steal like it's no big deal. It's their God-given right. We should be able to steal. I'm Jeff Easton. I can steal. I have an office on Madison Avenue. And I traded Yahoo options. And I have the right to steal. Listen, people, I'm doing this 25 years. I'm sick of doing it. I'm sick. I can't believe that I did everything in my power. Got everyone I know to make sure they voted for Trump for this, for this issue. People that didn't really understand it. I worked my ass off. And here we are. How many more days till he gets in? I got to worry about someone attempting to kill him, someone blowing up a building. It's just insane. Is it the naked short sellers doing this? Are they trying to stop him from being in? And that's why they're terrorizing everybody? Because you know what? We can say all we want that the terrorists want to kill Americans. We all know that. But is the money they're stealing so huge that they have to do anything to protect it? Is this what they're trying to do? Is that the front? To me, that makes sense. The U.S. is a piggy bank. We may be funding countries using naked short selling. Think about it. A country like Peru can have, 500 hedge funds, or the Cayman Islands. We know we funded the whole place by criminals. Wherever these offshore accounts are, Isle of Man, what's the other places? All these tax havens, Dubai. Tax haven Dubai. What did they do? They got caught. They lost $128 million naked shorting. Not one reporter did a story on it. I have friends that watch that offshore alert thing. That's how we found it. 128 million, not 2 million, not 28, 128 million. Someone took a bath on, and they're filing for bankruptcy out of Dubai, and they were naked shorting. How much money did they steal before? What kind of lifestyle did those guys have before? Huh? Isn't it great? We can all go to Dubai, open up an LLC, naked short. If we fail and we lose because we're complete idiots, just file for bankruptcy. No big deal. No one cares in the U.S. You just do that. And listen, I got it. There's a million problems in the world. Everyone's worried about their health and this and that. But this is so major for your lifestyle. And if you're working and you have a regular job and you just go to work every day and you're trying to increase and make some money so you can get a new car or vacation, and you put money into the stock market, you're insane unless they fix this problem. Because you can make money once or twice, but you'll get caught and you'll get wiped out. Looking at the tape and you say, oh my God, the stock's got 20 million shares trading today. It's going to go. Go where? Who sold 31 million shares of K&W today at 20 cents? That's a prearranged trade. Someone's buying, someone's selling. Did these guys pay for it? So everyone knows there are people out of the Cayman Islands that have an algorithm. You pay them, okay? This is what I'm hearing. It costs you $1 million, okay? So let's say Lynn Partners pays. I'm just giving an example. I don't have any proof of that. Lynn Partners pays $1 million to get KNW into this, algorithm, and the algorithm trips the computers, and they start buying the stock. Lynn Partners then sells 30 million shares of stock at 20 cents, right? They make a few bucks on that. And you know what? Let's say they make 3 million, spend 1, they're plus 2. They get all their money out of the company, and they don't really give a shit what happens next, right? All the shares are washed. Who's selling them? That's what I hear, my friends. There's people paying $1 million to get an algorithm. And you would sit there, why don't you tell the people with finger motion to do that? Do you know how crazy that is that you spend $1 million? What if it doesn't work? You lose $1 million? I would never tell anybody to do that. And yet these people are doing it. And the people that are doing it are the bad people, not the companies, because most of these companies don't have $1 million to spend. Do you guys want to know any more dirty secrets on Wall Street? I can keep going on. Because I hear it all the time.
Is $1.36 still the short squeeze target on Finger? And will
There's
it?
two numbers. Now, $1.36 was never a number. I don't know what that number is, $1.36. The short squeeze number was $2.20 on the 1.7 million, which is now 1.3, because they closed. They bought back 300,000 at $2.10. So they basically washed on those trades. So now it's down to 1.3 something. We get an update January, I forgot the date, 10th maybe. And we'll see about that real short. The naked short is still here. They naked shorted 1.3 million, 1.4 million on the day the stock, the secondary, they pushed it down to $1. They were blasting it away. They did that. So the naked short is still here. The real short could be gone. Okay. Could there be the real short? I spoke about the real short in finger motion many times. That's the guy short who we short 1.7 million. I said that was the dumbest trade in creation. Now, if this guy had
Confirm. Pick orders time.
he shorted it at 220, bought it back at $1.50, right? 70 cents, almost 2 million times, $1.4 million, nice trade, right? Profit, and he's gone. We'll find out if he closed his position out. If he did, that means he had knowledge of the secondary, right? That's why he shorted the 1.7 million. In which case, we'll report that to the federal agencies. But we have to wait and see. We know it was a naked short because they sold another 1.4 million. The data was posted. You can see that. That's up there. Anything else, William?
No.
Well, do you have anything to do, William? Because I have shit to do. And, it's a slow day. I'm trying to get everything I can to get down as much as I can do. I think I've answered every question in the world.
Yeah, you have.
And I do believe that I do believe, and I called it many times, the naked short sellers are financial terrorists. What portion of their funds flow to a terrorist organization? I don't know. It's obvious people out of the Middle East are naked shorting our stocks. You have proof of it. A firm from Dubai was recently just busted for it. How many more offshore hedge funds are doing this that we have no idea who they are, anything about them? The SEC, FINRA, NASDAQ all look the other way. They say they have no jurisdiction over short sales that are overseas. Think about that. The SEC, FINRA, and the NASDAQ allowing hedge funds offshore to steal from the U.S. equity markets, and they say we can't control those people. That's your U.S. government. And we have to have hearings and this and all that stuff on it. And all it comes down to is, hey, if you sell a stock, whoever takes your order and you don't deliver it, if I'm a broker at an English firm in the Cayman Islands and I'm selling stock into the U.S., if you sell a share in and it's not delivered, the FBI, the DOJ needs to go into that office in the Cayman Islands and drag them out and lock them up. We have reach into these jurisdictions. Go get them. And the broker that takes the order goes to jail. The broker that initiated the order goes to jail. And the hedge fund behind it goes to jail. End the conversation. And then you'll have a great market and everyone can make a nice living. You can buy a stock that has good technology. And just for example, I don't own it, but TELO, we've been following since its IPO at $7. This stock has been manipulated and held below 7 ever since that one-day squeeze up to 20. And that was way in the beginning. And the company's working on helping extend the life of your dog and to help extend the life of you. And they hold it down like it's the worst company in the world. Can't even get a chance. If the stock were to scream and go to 50, the company could probably raise $30, $40 million, hire 20 doctors, hire employees, become something that maybe we all can use and help save our life. Someone posted something this morning, William, about Pfizer. They've been in business for 100 and something million years, whatever. And they've never cured anything. How's that one?
Well, I don't know what to say about that.
I'm just saying that here it is that these big drug companies do one thing. What do? They buy the smaller ones. They let you go out there. They let you go out there and help build it. And after you fail and dilute and kill your company, they acquire you then for 1/10 of the price. And that's what happens. You know, how many times a small company actually comes up with a cure and they get acquired? You see them 1 out of 500. Everyone else gets acquired. Look at Northwest Bio, 26 cents. Everyone's saying they got great stuff, right? It's 26 cents. Who's selling it at 26 cents? So everybody kind of knows that there's something good going on there, right? No one cares. All right, William, listen, I'm going to leave you at that. Everyone, have a great day. We're still here. We got one more day tomorrow, and then we'll hopefully get this company to speak up shortly. And we'll see that they're doing everything we're saying they're doing.
Okay.
All right, have a great day.
Thank you. Bye.
Call ended.
All right. I'll just try to address three things. One is the idea of playing the downside in the market. How I would do it, if you believe the crash is going to come now, you can act now. I don't think it is coming now. Too many people are calling for the crash. Bull markets climb walls of worry. And I think there's a lot of money out there. Although I'm hearing the repo market, there's some liquidity issues. But I think there's a lot of cash out there. I think people are going to be flooding into the stock market. Will it be the same leadership? We'll find out. We'll find out. If I were in NVIDIA, I'd sell at least some of that and buy Intel if I wanted to still be in semiconductors. Will Intel go out of business? I doubt it. Will NVIDIA go up from here? Probably. But will it stay up? I don't know. But what I would do over the next weeks or months, if the market goes up, I would start buying puts. And you don't have to buy many just to say you played it. I would just buy either near term or out of the money puts. 3 of them, 5 of them, 15 of them. I think the company, the broker dealer that's probably at the most risk is Merrill Lynch, Bank of America. But you can pick a different one. I don't know if Starbucks is public anymore, but Starbucks is in trouble. You could pick some of the retail chains and bet against that. But I think the banks, if the market corrects, is where trouble is going to be. The other thing is you can buy the puts on the ETFs, or you can just buy the ETFs that participate in the downside. I think the overall U.S. market, everybody's in the U.S. market. So one thing you could start to do is to buy blue chip index funds in other markets, India, China, maybe Malaysia. I would be buying silver, physical silver, gold. If the market's correct, those things are going to go up, I think. However, in the moment of panic of a decline in the market, I put my notebook away, but I think the Dow could go to 60,000. After that, I think the Dow's going to correct 90%, 95%. As that comes down, everything will be under selling pressure. Everything. You've got to watch the bond markets. The Fed doesn't seem to be very much in control. So anyway, the one way I would look to do it is to pick something to buy puts on, or you could buy calls on the negative ETFs. That's kind of my answer right now on that. I don't have any stock that stands out. Like Nvidia will correct, Apple will correct, all the big 7 will correct, but these things could go much, much higher in a blow off top. So it's nibbling, and then when it crashes, everybody will know about it. So it's a timing issue, and you got to pick your own time, I guess. The other question somebody asked me is, what does Ham think about Railtown? Ham doesn't know anything about Railtown. That would be like asking Ham about one of these other stocks everybody has. He doesn't know. He doesn't care. Once it starts to run, I think he'll start to know about it, but he doesn't care. Railtown is not a short stock. It's not. Obviously, to me, somebody is shorting the stock, because let me just look at it right today. Rail's trading 32 to 35, 113,000 shares. Who's selling? Who's selling? I mean, maybe it's something to do with that private placement, but who's selling? It's the shorts, I think. So there might be some shorting in Rail, but Rail's not a short story. It's not gonna really interest him. My guess is. I don't think Atkins is going to do anything. I think Atkins is a bad SEC chairman. Should you move Rail F back into NIX? Well, let me go up to Rail first. I can't find it. Somebody asked me about Rail, and I can't find it. anyway, I can't find the question on rail. So look, we're Thursday, dead. Tomorrow, going to be dead. This is the logic I gave on Nixie, and I didn't follow it on rail. That from the week, the Monday, the Friday before Christmas, I said, to the Monday after New Year's, Wall Street will be dead. And I think that's proven true. So I think rail right now is dead. There's no activity. But I can't find who asked me about rail, asked me the timing, asked me whatever. I think rail is going to, it's the same story as it was. I went through the presentation with you. Rail, R&D, research and development, software development, raised a lot of money. 85% of that money went to development. They created a product called Conductor. They're showcasing it to the world. That product is contained. It's not open AI. It's AI. And it's in high demand. It solves a problem. It takes what could be months and high costs and reduces it to as few as hours and minutes. And they are getting customers. It looks like there have been no announcements of customers. That would be the next step. They have gone to conferences, but they are in the stage where the stock is going to show or not show. I mean, there's risk. Railtown is in the stage where founder money came in, angel round came in, over-the-counter capital came in, and they developed their software. They now have a product which is first mover. It's good. It's called Conductor. It solves a real problem. People want it. So now you're in the value creation stage. And then what's left is a buyout or a joint venture. This is oil and gas or a mining chart all day long. It's called an S-curve. It's called a hockey stick. It's value creation. That's where rail is. I don't think simply because we're in the middle of a holiday and it hasn't moved yet that it's not going to move. I think what we're waiting on in rail is any kind of announcement out of a meaningful sign up of a customer. You start moving up this list, up this value creation. Why? R&D, not proven. Oh, it's a piece of shit. Sell it. Oh, I heard it before. Somebody big or small comes in and does a revenue deal. Aha. That works. That product works. It's a 25 billion or a 300 billion, whatever the market is for software developers in the world, and they have a small piece. They could get a big piece. Problem solved. It's proprietary, first mover, closed system. It starts to move up. That's the deal with rail. How high does it go? I think rail is the soonest to move, but I think rail could now get bunched in with Nixie, with NTRP, with potentially ZJYL and GDC. You can't call it. It's the beginning of the year. To the extent that people are sitting there wanting to see something go, any of these could go. But if I had to pick, I think Rail goes first, but I don't know what that means. Does it go to $1? Does it go to $2? Does it go to $3? I would say yes to all of that. Does it go to 1, 2, and 3 all at once? I don't know. I think we're in the new year of 2025 right now. But I think the new year actually starts next week in terms of investing and focus and people returning to their desk. So I think Rail, one of the targets for Rail is the warrants that they did in their financing that has a 10-day call. In other words, if the stock price trades at $1.20 or better for 10 consecutive days, the company can call the warrants. They can ask the warrants to be exercised, or they retire them. So I think that becomes a target for the stock price. I'm going to use that, 120. I think it's a positive. Could the stock go to 120 in the next 2 weeks? Yes, I think so. Will it? I don't know. We'll find out. But I think that's what it's poised to do sometime in January. I think it'll be accelerated. Again, R&D, development's done. They now have a product to sell that works. Once they start selling it, any idiot on Wall Street, and they're not idiots, will go, well, wait a minute. They solved this problem. The market is yay big, and they could claim 40% of that market very quickly. They'll start having price targets on Rail. I think Rail is possibly the quickest move to the upside, but it might also be the surest move because of fundamentals and because it's in AI, it's in technology, it's in all that brainiac quantum computing area that everyone's in love with. Now, should you move your Rail back into NIX? I don't know. That's up to you. Personally, if Nixie starts to move next week, which it could, I'll be in the audience. I don't have enough Rail to move it around. That's me. Now, if you do your value estimate or your trade estimate based on percentage moves, do I think Nixie could go from $6 to $12 or $18 in the next 2 or 3 weeks? Yes, I do. Could Rail go from 30 some cents to $1.20 in the next 2 or 3 weeks? Yes, I do. So it's the same percentage. Now, Nixie is basically a company called Next. Got to have it. Got to have it. You can go to their website. It's arts and crafts, gifts, candles, things you sell on a high street. These people wholesale. That's what it is. $10 million last year, $4 million profit. They're going to use AI to enhance that and to have that grow. And then they're going to try to become $1 billion company. There's a low float out, and they might accelerate that. So I think Nix, they've got a large potential short position. I've shown you the charts. I think NIX could start trading up very quickly. In my case, I'm going to miss it if it does. But I think NIX could start trading up January 6th as well as Rail. So only you can decide that. Could NIX have a short squeeze very soon? Yes, I think it's a short squeeze candidate. So it's only you can decide that. I think Rail is a high class target acquisition. The CEO has done it twice before. His COO's done it at least once. The CEO sold his last company to Microsoft. Could that happen again? Sure, but it'll take 6 months. I mean, you could get a memorandum of understanding or something sooner, but it's going to be a summertime event, an October event. So you have to wait. But how high could it be? I don't know. Railtown could go out for $1 billion, $2 billion, $3 billion if this software is as good as their website says and the announcements are. It could be a $15, $20 stock. Is it worth waiting for the bird in the bush or the bird in the hand? Or do you get out of that, get into Nixie, which might be a squeeze play, and then get back in? Only you can decide that, Benjamin. Now, if Rail goes up next week, which I think it could, look, my premise is 2 weeks of holiday, back to the desks Monday, action starts. It's possible in that highlight, action starts. If Rail goes up to $1.20, maybe it makes sense to take your original capital off and go back to Nixie. And I have a small position. I would probably do that, but I'm not going to sell Rail until it goes up. And if I miss Nixie, I miss Nixie. I do think Nixie is still the sexiest story out there, particularly from a short squeeze potential. They've got a huge short in it, and they've got a fundamental campaign going on. And then you have Next Trip, NTRP. I think that could start. Action could start next week. So where do you go, Benjamin? You can't be everywhere. Another way I look at it is shares of stock or units of stock. If I think Railtown has a chance of going to, I don't know, $15 in a buyout, and I risk that by 2/3, so I say it has a chance to go to $5, and maybe it only takes 90 days to do that. And remember, I'm saying that it could be bought out, buyout, 6-9 months from now. So I'm risking it instead of 15 or 20, call it $5. That could happen sooner. Well, I can own more units of Railtown than I can of Nixie. Now, Nixie could go to 15 or 20, but I've got fewer of them. It gets into the art, not the science, because it's not a very rational analysis. If you want to do it just on percentage basis, makes no sense. But if in fact Rail goes first, which I don't know, but if it does, all of a sudden 30 cents turns into 5 cents. I can turn around, come back and buy more Nix. These are decisions you just have to make yourself. I can't. I guarantee you, if I were to sell Rail like you're suggesting to get back into Nix, Rail would go up and Nix would go down. So I paid my money. I'll wait. I have my ticket. I'll wait for my laundry. I'm going to see what happens. Nobody knows. No, I don't think so. I'm not him. Finger isn't squeezing unless forced to cover. I don't think they'll be forced to cover. I think what will happen with Finger, and I'm not going to repeat it again. I'm really not. It's just the repetition gets boring. But I think Finger, on a fundamental basis, can get to a significantly higher price. That back in the olden times, the old times, would be huge return. Up 50%, up 100%. That's amazing. Now everybody wants the moon. So if Finger were to get to $2, $3, $4, $5, $6 and stay there, well, they'll cover just because they can't afford to. They can't afford to keep the position open. They might manage it, so we'll find out. AI market size. Yeah. Well, AI is going to get bigger and bigger, and the software aspect, development aspect market. Yeah, let's go look at it. This is their product, Conductor AI. Proven tech founders, 4 merger and acquisition exits, 6 startups. We went through this presentation the other day. This is how their software works. I have no idea what it all means. You get the tickets, the builds, the logs, the comments. It all goes into this black box, comes out to the teams. It does tasks. It creates solutions. That goes back in, all that crap. So they have a root cause analyzer. They have an AI assistant and a velocity dashboard, whatever velocity means. It performs tasks, ticket generators, progress reports, creates solutions, and there you go. What are the target markets? Software development tools market is valued at $4 billion, growing at 15%. And AI as a service sector is $7 billion, growing at 44%. Anyway, I don't want to get buried in that. They suffice it to say, they are first movers with a solution in not only big markets for them, but growing markets. And I think they're a natural target for their partners. I don't think it's coming. But we'll find out. I hope it does. Don't get me wrong. I would love it if it did, but I see no evidence that the SEC is on the side of investors or on the side of settlement. It's clear to me the SEC is on the side of the big funds who trade money from offshore by destroying wealth in the United States. Wealth that women own the majority of. Thank you, Adina Friedman. I don't know what all that means. All right, now I just want to finish by well, I don't know. I remember that situation, and I don't think it was proven that he didn't have a buyer. Um, I don't know that it was false. But yeah, they go after CEOs. That's a perfect example of where a CEO cannot come out and give encouragement like you want people to do for Finger without the threat of jail. The criminals can come on here and poison the well constantly because they have lawyers who are paid for by the funds who hire Gary Gensler and manipulate Ann Wagner. So it's a nice theory, and I appreciate that you think the markets actually have some sort of justice. They don't. Everything is set up to help Steve Cohen, using him as a placeholder for the entire corrupt hedge fund business, and to screw the shareholder, this common shareholder. Why? So you give your money so Lloyd Blankenfield can manage your money. It's as simple as that. It's all about getting assets and fees to Wall Street so they can steal. That's all it is. I don't think it was glazed over. I think they went after Elon Musk, and you have your spin on it. I remember it. I didn't think Elon Musk had done anything wrong. If he had pushed, just like you guys are saying, Martin should be out there. He should be saying something. That's what Elon did. He pushed it. But I don't think there's any evidence he lied. But the SEC always suspects the priest. They never think it's the deacon. All right. All right. My poor dog. All right, I'm going to finish on gold and silver, and I'll try to do it quickly. Poor guy. Poor guy. Poor guy. Poor guy. All right. Poor guy. All right. From Von Greiritz, December 31 by Matthew Piepenberg. Tragically predictable gold. Another year is ending, so we should look forward. I see no realistic option ahead other than a weak dollar and higher prices for gold. This is not, quote unquote, selling my book. It's just common sense. And it applies to history, debt markets, and his observation that the bond market is the thing. Well, okay, that's clever. The bond market is boring. But if you understand government debt, you can see things clearly. In the year-end report that Matthew Piepenberg put out in 2023, We saw the events of 2024 clearly. It was not the result of genius, but just a basic understanding of debt. Global debt has already passed 300 trillion and is on track to surpass 400 trillion by 2030. Also, I said Powell will cut rates in 24. He did that. How did I know? The bond market said so. He predicted a failed war on inflation. Powell cut rates in 24 because the United States government's debt would not and could not afford higher for longer rate policies to fight inflation. You can't raise interest rates on 36 trillion in debt and pay for it. And he didn't. Powell took the CPI down in 23 by gutting the middle class with rate hike driven and demand killing recession. Then he refused to call it a recession. But Matthews said the United States would not be entering a recession in 24 because it already was in a recession. And in fact, you could argue,
and afford them without having to print more money. We should be able to discuss why that when the S&P went up 6.
you could argue, I don't know why that happened, that we're in a depression. I screwed up. I'm gonna leave it at that. We'll come back on tomorrow. Okay. Why things get screwed up. Lucky boy, I'm sorry you're walking around in circles. Anyway, some would argue we're actually in a depression right now. Bond dumping. Matthew saw a world which would dump U.S. treasuries, which they did. So the bond market was telling him all this. And because of that, he saw that gold would go up in 24. It's a superior asset to the United States Treasury. Gold would be the brightest star on the tree. And that's what happened in 2024. Matthew Piepenburg also said that the stock bubble would become grossly overvalued in 24. I still think it's going to get worse, but we'll find out. Worse in terms of being overvalued. I saw this not because of insider knowledge, but because I knew that today's pathetically centralized markets are as predictable as dogs. They go up when the Fed is dovish and down when the Fed is hawkish. In short, in the year-end article, Matthew started announcing risk on. So there you have it. When looking ahead into 24, at the end of 23, we could see, with a common sense understanding of debt and bond market forces, that one, the Fed would cut rates. Two, the war on inflation would be lost. 3, a recession was in hand. 4, nations would dump U.S. treasuries. And 5, gold would rise on central bank buying. And 6, the stock bubble would increase. So now we'll look forward to this year, 2025. Once again, we need no crystal balls. Instead, we only need to understand the debt market. The bond market is the thing, according to Matthew Peipenberg. When I wrote last year's year ahead report, the U.S. public debt was 34 trillion. As of now, this appalling number is 37 trillion. As the United States continues to spend more than it takes in via receipts. Such debt numbers, in the backdrop of an embarrassing fat $130 trillion global bond market, makes things predictable. History is more instructive and more honest than politicos, pundits, bankers, and market makers. As history confirms, without exception, that all debt-soaked nations inevitably face a moment of reckoning when the only way to solve its debt crisis, usually by overspending and military overreach, is to debase the currency. This is, of course, bad term for long-term bondholders, paper currency savers, and those who misunderstand the difference between nominal and real returns. Those who refuse to see what history makes clear get hurt. What history makes clear is that debt destroys nations. Debt destroys nations. On the other hand, history is very kind to gold. Why? When an unconstitutional central bank becomes the unofficial fourth branch of government, you can be sure its motives are not employment and inflation. The Fed's real motive is banksters, 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 and banksters. The Fed's real mandate is making sure the bond market does not die. But how does a central bank keep its sovereign bond market alive if less and less, fewer and fewer nations and investors trust or want those bonds? The central bank can mouse click its own inflationary money out of thin air to pay for debt. It just buys bonds by pressing a button. In other words, the bond market is saved at the expense of the purchasing power of the currency. The people stay in power at the expense of citizens' wealth. So, regardless of which currency is the cleanest dirty shirt that Chris Christopherson stumbles out of bed and finds in his closet, 2025 will see a weaker dollar in order to monetize US debts and make a slow dent in the 125% debt to GDP ratio that currently exists, unless Trump can grow our GDP. And since gold is physical rather than paper, gold's price in terms of dollars will go up. Trump wants a weaker dollar. Jake Sullivan, the milk toast, wants a weaker dollar. Yellen wants a weaker dollar. And even while Powell was doing his higher for longer fake out, yet the dollar is stronger. Can the dollar be saved? Is the dollar stronger than the Fed, the US Treasury Department, or the White House? Maybe. By the way, the US markets have something like 49% of the world's investable capital right now. Is that sustainable? I don't know. If one starts with what I believe is the correct premise, that the currency will always be sacrificed to save the debt market, it's safe to assume the dollar will be no exception. The only question today is who's in charge in DC? Was Biden ever really in charge? Who decided to, quote, weaponize the dollar again to fight Putin? Eisenhower pointed out the military, the contractors, powerful. But as I wrote recently, when a nation's interest expense exceeds its military budget, that nation is in open decline. Given the debt level and deficit spending are skyrocketing at the same time as we are going to war, it doesn't require special powers to predict more war spending ahead and currency debasement to pay for it. What about Doge? 25% of the United States GDP comes from the federal government. If Doge starts killing jobs in DC, that's a bullet to the head of GDP and a lot of unemployed workers sliding into over-leveraged oblivion. The only option is a weaker dollar. Spending cuts are going to be expensive. They're also going to be inflationary. They're going to kill GDP, which means deficits will go up rather than down if Doge gets into full gear with a strong dollar. The risks and costs associated with cutting spending will succeed if the US dollar is weaker rather than stronger. And what better way to weaken the US dollar than stapling interest rates to zero while simultaneously printing money to the moon? That, as I see it today, is the only card Doge and the new administration has to play forward. So if you're nimble, maybe you can play TLT or 2-year, 5-year treasuries for lower interest rates. It's a gamble against the bond market, but it might work. In other words, against the bond market going its own way. Anything less than a weaker dollar will kill any chance of Trump becoming a lame duck. But regardless of who is in the White House, the realities of arithmetic tell us all we need to know. Every debt-soaked nation, empire, and regime throughout history has been forced to debase its money and hurt its own people to save the king. And to go to war. Have you been hearing any of this somewhere before? Ernest Hemingway said, the first panacea of a mismanaged nation is inflation of the currency. The second is war. Both bring a temporary prosperity. Both bring a permanent ruin. But both are the refuge of political and economic opportunists. That's where we stand today. One option, kill our currency. Inflate or die. Gold has nowhere to go up because money has no place to go but down. All right. That's Matthew Piepenburg. All right. So I'm going to sign out. Wish everybody a good day for the rest of the day. Thank you for listening. Peace around the world. Peace particularly to the children of all faiths and all colors, all countries. And cheers, mate.